episode is brought to you by Saratoga Spring Water. Elevate every moment with Saratoga's award-winning taste and signature blue bottle. Hi everyone, I'm Meredith Abbott, Culinary Director for Saratoga, and welcome to On the Table. Today I'm showing you a recipe that is both simple and indulgent. Oysters on the half shell with a lemon herb butter sauce. A few things you should know before we get started with the shucking: how to purchase oysters. First, always go to a reputable source when purchasing your oysters. Depending on where you live in the country, East Coast versus West Coast, you will have different oysters to choose from. As you can see here in front of me, here's 4 different kinds. You can see how different they look. They're all going to taste a bit different based on where you are, the time of year, where they come from. When you get them home, always keep them cold. Keep them on ice. I like this method of using a rimmed baking sheet with a towel full of ice, and keep them belly side down, flat side up, just like this. It's a great way to store them. And then before I shuck them, I scrub them really well under running water with a stiff brush to get any loose dirt off of them. So those are kind of the basic things that you need to know before you get started. Next is grab an oyster knife. Now this is just one option, but it's an option that I like. Nice thick handle, sturdy, short blade, really rigid, has a nice tip on it that's slightly sharp. This is gonna help you get into that hinge and pop the top off. Next thing you need is a thick, clean kitchen towel. This is going to help protect your hands. With all of this, let's get started. And grab my first oyster, cup side down, flat side of the lid or shell up, set it down on my towel. I'm going to take a folded side and set it above it. And you're looking for this hinge. You have the curved side and you have a hinge side, is usually the side with the point, like that. Have that peeking out. Hold this down, take the tip of your knife, and you're going to work it in until you can feel it go into that hinge. Wiggle it side to side. Wiggle it until you feel it pop. Oh, yep, you feel it release, just like that. Work your knife underneath, that, and around to release this lid. Try not to tip it because you want to keep all of that, it's called liquor, inside. You're going to take the tip of your knife and run it underneath the oyster to loosen it. There's a little muscle in there that you want to loosen. And then a lot of times people will flip them over. There you go. And then set that back down onto your ice. And there you go. I'm going to continue on with this until I have shucked all 12 oysters. I'm on my last oyster. Perfect. There we go. Set this on the ice. And now I'm going to take these, put them into the refrigerator while I prep the rest of my ingredients. And now for the lemon herb butter sauce. So to a small saucepan, I'm just gonna get medium-low heat. I'm going to add 1 stick of butter, some minced garlic, some minced thyme, lemon zest, great, and some freshly cracked black pepper. Perfect. I'm just going to melt the butter and stir this till it comes together. Once it does, just gonna turn off the heat and let it sit. Now I'm going to pick and mince some fresh parsley. So grab each stem with your fingertips, gently pull. It's okay if you get some actual tender stem in there. It's fully edible. Just pick those leaves off there. Before I mince my parsley, my butter is fully melted, so now I'm going to turn the heat off and just let this hang out until I'm ready for it. And I'm going to mince my parsley. Bundle this all up into a nice little bundle. Running my knife through one direction. Make sure you keep your knives super sharp, especially when handling herbs, so you slice through them instead of bruise and mash them. Just gonna run through this until it's nice and small, like the size of confetti or sprinkles. Set that aside. Now I'm going to grab my oysters out of the refrigerator. All right, here's my oysters that I shucked. I've got my oyster pan. I love this cast iron pan because it can be used on a grill, over a campfire, or like today, in my oven. So I'm gonna set each one of these oysters in a cavity, like so. Arrange them in each well. In fact, if you wanted to use this to serve raw oysters, you could put crushed pebble ice down in each one of these wells too. It doesn't have to be for cooking. You could also use it for serving. Okay, these are in. There we go. Now give my sauce a little stir. Grab a spoon. I'm gonna top each one of these oysters with a spoonful of butter. And don't worry, you will have extra butter that you can serve on the side and add to your cooked oysters. So about a spoonful of this lemon garlic herb butter on each oyster. There we go. And now to create a little bit of a crunchy top, take some parmesan, sprinkle some over top. The parmesan is going to play very nicely with the brininess of the oysters. And now for the minced parsley. It's not only going to add some color, but some freshness. You could change up and use a different herb if you like, if you'd rather have dill, tarragon, but I think parsley's nice. Okay, these are ready to go into my preheated oven. Oh wow, it smells like I'm on a beach vacation right now. I would serve it just like this with some crusty bread, some lemon wedges, and the extra lemon herb butter. I hope you enjoy. Saratoga Spring Water is the perfect pairing for today's recipe. Saratoga Sparkling complements the delicate flavors of oysters on the half shell.